Hey guys, welcome to Pokka. I'm Cypher and I'm here with
Oladapo. Amit.
Ujat Summer.
and today we'll be bringing you something new. So basically the description first. They are also finding out more about it as we go. The basic format is we'll have an argument, so to speak, and they will have 30 seconds to give their cases, their opening cases for this argument or whichever sides they pick. And then they will now have 30 seconds after everyone has spoken to rebuttal for what everyone else has said or said against them. And you guys are clear on the instructions, right?
Yes, sure.
Yeah.
Any questions before we begin? Hujat?
Why?
Z. Anyways, without wasting much more time, let's get started. Alright, so now to begin with, just a little bit of a disclaimer. It's first person to answer that gets their answer. If both of you answer at what is almost the same time, vibes and inshallah. So we start with the first question. You have about 5 to 10 seconds to just think up an answer. If you don't answer within those 10 seconds, you're already out of it.
What?
Best Joker portrayal.
It's Ledger.
Dapo gets it first. The remaining two, you have to find someone else.
Jared Leto.
Jared Leto, Hujat.
Joaquin Phoenix.
Joaquin Phoenix. Alright, so we have our three answers. Dapo answered first, so he has to go first. Starting now.
Okay, so what I like about It's Ledger is the fact that he brought his own thinking or his own belief of what the Joker should be like, and in a way, he did not actually derange from what was in the comics or what was from previous movies. And I also like the fact that he gives different stories on how he got his car. He gives this sort of like he's a crazy person and he leaves a lot of mystery as to who he is, what his past is like, and those sort of things that, that actually defines a villain and gives a villain like a proper backstory.
Alright, thank you. Hujat has Jared Leto.
What I like about Jared Leto is the fact that he's different. And many people tend to underestimate his portrayal of the Joker. And I like generally just the vibes that came with the Suicide Squad. It was one of the favorite aspects of that entire movie. Then to see a character carry the movie basically, it's just kind of amazing. So that's one of the reasons why I choose Jared Leto.
And Hujat with time to go stops. Jolade, you had Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah. For me, I would say his Joker was unique in a way, not necessarily comic accurate, but not everything comic accurate is always good. And Joaquin Phoenix one is one of the things that are not actually comic accurate, but actually top notch.
Oh, that's all.
So that gives me enough time to rebuttal.
Alright, good. I just want to state for the record that if you lie during your case, we're not going to accept it just because you're saying it. But we'll give the others a chance to rebuttal. So Dapo, you get to rebuttal first. 30 seconds, sorry, go.
Okay, so like he said, Jared Leto's Joker carried the whole of the Suicide Squad. I'm sure he was behind the screen at the cinema when we was watching it, because that did not happen. And when we are talking about Heath Ledger's Joker in The Dark Knight, we all saw the crazy thing he did. That actually brought Joker into the big screen. No offense to Jack Nicholson's Joker or the Cesar Romero's Joker, but this guy actually brought some level of craziness, putting convicts on a different ship and putting
Time, that's good. Hujat, you get to rebuttal now. 30 seconds, go.
First of all, ouch, Dapo. And I still stand on the fact that he carried what they call the movie. Because how many things can you pick up from that movie that's actually good? And Joker tends to be one of the okay things inside that movie. His portrayal, the entire aspect with this woman, what's her name, Harley Quinn, and so on. So I actually enjoyed their scene together. And also at the end of Justice League, that scene between Batman and him actually showed their kind of relationship and so on. So that's why I would still pick on.
Time. Jolade, 30 seconds, go.
You are talking about somebody carrying the Suicide Squad. We all agree that to name the top 5 characters that would have carried the Suicide Squad, Joker's name is not even going to be number 7.
But he didn't.
He didn't. So, first of all, I'll tell you, I'd rather see Deadshot carry the Suicide Squad. Yeah, Harley Quinn.
I feel like this is not a rebuttal. This is just like attack against Gujarat.
All right, so we have all your points and we have all your rebuttals. For future's sake, it might have done you a little bit more good, Jolade, to attack Dapo as well, since Dapo has the strongest case amongst all three of you. And Huja, it didn't help you that the person that you're using as your character was the best part of a bad movie, so it's not really a great character, it's just manageable. But it's seeming like I have to give the first round to Dapo because he had the strongest point and he wasn't really rebutted against that much. And with that, we wrap out our first round, and we now have our second round, second question. Remember, first person to answer. Best comic book movie of 2020. Yeah, it wasn't meant to be easy.
Can we like
What about
use
series?
it technically?
No,
Yes, series.
just movies.
Just movies.
Okay, Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Zack Snyder's Justice League. No, wait, that's 2021.
You say 2021
Yes.
It was
2020.
2021. Even though it started production.
Exactly, so 2020.
2021.
You have
Keep
10
your
seconds.
explanation
Counting
to
now.
yourself.
Best 2020 comic book movie.
Comic book movie in 2020.
That's
I can give you suggestions if you want.
yeah.
No, I'm not giving you suggestions.
Bloodshot.
Bloodshot.
Ali Queen Birds of Prey.
Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey. Hujat.
Ah.
Hujat. I know we passed our 10-second mark, but
Oh, Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman 84, we have our 3 cases. That one answered first with Bloodshot. Please tell me why it's the best comic book movie of 2020.
Okay, given the fact that I haven't read the comic, but I read some things about the comic. I feel like from what I saw online, I'm shooting myself right now. They actually went well. The story was actually direct to the comics, so there isn't that much difference. I might be capping, but there isn't that much difference. And the fact that they got Vin Diesel to do the role, he actually looks like the character. He's who you would think of if you are thinking of the main character.
And time. Jelade, you had the second pick with whatever you picked.
For
Go.
one, there was a whole lot of inclusivity in the Birds of Prey movie. So, though some people may not like the fact that a black girl played Black Canary, but
I don't.
all we know is that there was inclusivity, people were represented. Ali Quinn got a space to shine apart from the animated movies. Like, she led a proper team. And she did. Apart from that, it won awards. It's actually won awards. So that's just it. There's no much to say.
All right, time.
You like
Hujat.
to Agbada with this your cap.
Hujat, go.
Attack on the Jacket season 2. I know. So the movie was not so bad as it is, but if we should look at it, the only aspect I can go for is that they gave into more character of Gal Gadot's version of Wonder Woman. They showed the emotional aspect of her. They made her more relatable as a human being rather than an Amazon warrior. So if we should look at just that aspect, they actually did well in progressing with her story. So that's what I have to say.
Nice. Rebuttal round. Dapo, go.
Okay, so like I said, I was capping, but then there is much more humanity in Bloodshot compared to that of right? Compared to that of Wonder Woman. Because if you look at it, after even being brought back and given all these nine, you could still feel that this guy was emotionally attached to his family, his wife, and there were a lot of human feelings and emotions and all this. It was really intricate to the story.
Wonder Woman had no emotions.
It's not your turn. What's your turn?
And time. Jelade, Hamlet, it is your turn now.
Yeah, for one, Bloodshot has less emotions than Wonder Woman. And number two.
Are you helping his case? Or yours?
No.
Let's try not to interfere in each other's
And
rounds.
number two, you can't say Wonder Woman progressed. Okay, first they portrayed her as daughter of Zeus, but all we saw was like an anime version of a movie. She was using love to run the movie throughout. That's like Natsu using power of friendship to win over villains. Things are not done like that.
And time.
First of
Hujat.
all, a big filler You're capping that one. Because there's nothing there in Bloodshot that was enjoyable. Aside for some action sequence, aside from that, there's nothing there. I'm sorry to say. And to Jolade, yes, yes, I think you look at it in the sense that first part they showed her as daughter of Zeus and so also an Amazon warrior. Second part they showed her as being more human after spending 70 years, showing how that human relationship had rubbed onto her and so on. And going to Birds of Prey, that movie was just what they call it, SJW, just pushing. They pushed a lot
It
of goals that they did not
represented
achieve.
cultures.
What
Let's try
culture
not to
exactly?
interfere in each other's rounds.
Okay.
And
They
I
said,
believe we're out of time. Now to bring everything to a wrap for the second round. At the beginning of it, Jolade and Hujat actually had like it's okay, not at the beginning. It boils down to Jolade and Hujat. That boy is definitely not in this. But Hujat actually made some strong cases, and I actually didn't like the fact that most of you didn't try and rebuttal, like try and bring the bad parts of Wonder Woman out. We were just trying to focus on what he said. But Hermit also made a very strong case in the form that Birds of Prey was actually the one that won a lot of awards because there wasn't really much competition last year. So they both made strong cases, but I feel like Hujat actually elaborated on his case a bit more, while Jolade just mentioned it offhand. So Hujat takes the second round for us. So first round goes to Dapo, second round goes to Hujat. Let's hope Hermit gets a win here. Third question, best Batman. Now, to note, this is referring to every version of Batman, animated series, comic book version, just a singular version of Batman. 10 seconds, answers. Jason O'Mara,
Kevin Conroy.
Kevin Conroy.
we have to know their names.
If you can describe the version, I'll take
Brave
it.
and Bold Batman.
Brave and Bold Batman. That's
Kevin
that's
Conroy.
yeah, that's Kevin Conroy.
This Dark Knight Rises Batman.
Christian Bale. All right, so we have Christian Bale, we have
Yeah.
Jason O'Mara, and we have Kevin Conroy. 30 seconds, Jolade. You got your answer first. Go, Jason O'Mara.
For Jason O'Mara, for people that may not know, he's the animated Batman for the DCAU, the one that started from Justice League 1 down to Justice League 1 Apocalypse. One of the reasons I like him was he's a near perfect representation of the new 52 Batman. We saw his voicing. Though I can't actually call an acting because it was just more of animated stuff. But his voicing was perfect. He gave emotions. He gave emotions to the Batman, and it was just there, near perfect. And I believe since I'm using an animated version, I believe I can use
And you're out of time. Sorry. Dapo, you make your case for.
Okay, Kevin Conroy is the iconic voice for Batman everywhere in the world. Even in the Arkham game, in the Arkham series game, is the best voice actor for Batman. Same way Mark Hamill is the best voiced Joker, and they both complement each other. When you hear Kevin Conroy's voice, even when we like call it a cameo in Batgirl, or one of the CW crossovers. The moment we heard his voice, we knew it was Batman. There was no thinking about it. Jason O'Mara was an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. and we could not tell that he is Batman. So, but when you hear Kevin Conroy's voice, you hear he is Batman.
All right, thank you. Hujat.
Well, for Christian Bale, it has always been a strong bias because after watching a lot of Batman movies back then, which some I enjoyed, some I didn't, and I went towards the comic. The first time I watched Dark Knight, before Dark Knight Rising, that was Christian Bale version. That felt to me like this is Batman. This way he portrayed the character, his physique with the clothes, and just basically all that. It was always this kind of love that anytime you ask me who is Batman, I will just mention that version. Until Brave and Bold. But that's just basically why I feel that he's one of the best portrayals.
All right. I love the fact that Hujat shot himself in the leg at the beginning and at the end of his case. But let's move into rebuttals. Jolade, you go first.
For one, he's probably right on the Kevin Conroy. He's an iconic character. The main reason what I want to attack is he said Jason O'Mara was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and nobody could recognize him as Batman. That's very easy in the sense that Jason O'Mara started voicing Batman from the Justice League War. He started 2014, and almost most of us fans are more attuned to Kevin Conroy's voice than Jason O'Mara's voice. So if you hear Jason O'Mara voice, only fans of the DCAU will recognize that this is actually Batman
All right,
from the
time.
DCAU.
Dapo, your
And
rebuttal.
Okay, first off, your version of Batman is not the one that he doesn't the physique doesn't capture Batman, and also the fact that he doesn't have that computerized way that he has to go. I am Batman. He's actually off of it. Then to go to yours, Jason O'Mara, I would like to remind you that Jason O'Mara joined Agent of Shield in like season 3, season 4, and that was before Justice League war. So he has been Batman. He has been Batman before he joined the Agent of Shield.
Not the point.
And time. Hujet, your case.
I can't really argue much with their own versions because I actually enjoy them, especially the one for Apocalypse. But at the end of the day, if we are going to cinematic portrayal of Batman and we compare Christian Bale to Batfleck, Top End Vex, I'll still always pick Christian Bale version, especially in Dark Knight Rises when he fought against Bane. That had to everything there was just classic right there, and I enjoyed it basically. So that's why I'm picking it. You see, this is more of a personal bias, as I stated at the beginning, rather than an actual. Okay.
All right, time. All right, so now for the winner of this round. Just to
Can we
begin
go
with.
one more round?
No, you can't. Just to begin, Hujat, you probably shouldn't have complimented Jolade at the beginning of your argument or at the end of your argument by saying by saying until Brave and the Bold you thought Christian Bale was the best Batman, because that means you're admitting that his Batman is better. So that almost automatically disqualifies you. And then it now boils down to Dapo and Jolade. And I feel like Dapo made stronger points because Jolade wasn't able to get most of his points off when he began. Getting stuck with the whole description of his voice and how it fits rather than what makes him a better Batman than Kevin Conroy. So third round rather goes to Dapo. All right, now moving on to our fourth question without wasting too much time with it. Best comedy movie.
Of all time?
Yes.
Comedy movie.
Yes. 10 seconds, pick your answers. Now remember, it doesn't have to be the world accepted best comedy movie. You just have to make a case for why it's better than the others.
Dirty Grandpa.
Dirty Grandpa. Dapo has his answer.
21 Jump Street.
21 Jump Street.
The Dragonfly.
Dragonfly. 3 answers down. I see Dapo is regretting his choice. Dapo, 30 seconds go.
Okay, see, the Dirty Grandpa, he focused much more on life after, like, when you retired and you are old. Like, most of the things that some people miss out doing when they were young, Dirty Grandpa actually focuses on it. And it brings the connection between the grandpa and the grandson, which shows that after the death of the grandmother, the grandfather still wants to have fun and do some other things with the grandson. But then again, it shows the relationship of, this kind of thing, like this old man is cramping my style and all this thing, and it brings the family and emotion of the connection of family into it. But then the most important thing is that they were able to do all this and portray all this in a very, very funny way.
Time. All right, thanks. Jolade, 21 Jump Street.
Well, for one, it took the classic Ned and Jack story, and instead of making them enemies, it made them friends. Like give them a dynamic duo, them working together as police partners and infiltrating an high school, and almost everything there was, as much as it was a comedy, there were little life lessons there to be learned, and almost every scene there, apart from learning, you're always laughing. It's just there. It's there like that.
I mean, with his case. All right, time.
Not much to
Hujat.
say.
For those that remember this statement, he's a dragonfly, but he can't even fly. I can fly. I can fly. Breaking news: Tom Cruise is dead. There is nothing that you want to bring out from that movie. Like, you have a parody of both Spider-Man and a parody of Batman put together in one movie. Everything was crazy. Everything was, I don't know. I laughed from beginning till the end of the movie. It was a movie I laughed my heart out. And it's just basically a senseless movie. It doesn't need a story. You just go there and laugh at superheroes, and that's just all there is to it.
Time. All right. Dapo, rebuttal starts
Okay,
now.
first off, the Dragonfly is we can't say it's a comedy movie because when you watch a comedy movie, you're supposed to learn a little bit of thing there. There's nothing to learn in the Dragonfly. It's just pure stupidity and dumbness. I mean, most of the jokes there were just literal. You have to be really dumb to just laugh to those jokes. But meanwhile, Dirty Grandpa actually had some important jokes and some things that actually shows the connection of family. That's something that actually brings the bond of grandfather and grandson together, and it shows a lot of other things.
Time. Jolady, rebuttal. Time is going from.
As for Dirty Grandpa, um, there are a whole lot one can say, but there's just not enough time for one to just reboot the how they put it, just how dumb the movie is. That's for that. And as for Dragonfly, like he said, there's nothing to learn there. If I can ask you, what did you learn?
I like to laugh.
Basically, you learned nothing. It's just like that.
And time. Huja, rebuttal.
Shogun helmet this time. Guy, you're getting different level of caps. So you go to watch a comedy movie to learn something. Me, I go there to laugh. Probably why I'm a happy person and you're not. That is just all there is to the movie. At a point, Dirty Grandpa started becoming too sulky about something aside towards the ending. Too much like me, I came to laugh, so I just paused the movie and moved on. And I can't even remember your own because it's not even that funny like that. That's just it. I can't even remember what you call it. What's the name? But even if I keep quiet, that will all go to Dragonfly. And after we're all going to sit back and talk about things we saw, and we're still going to laugh at it.
Time. All right. Yeah, this is pretty straightforward around. Once again, Jolady didn't seem to get much points out, especially in his rebuttal stage. Darkball's case about not learning anything fell flat because truly not the movies aren't designed for educational purposes, so that's not the primary goal. So Huja takes the second round, which makes it 2-2. Now we still have two questions left, which means Jolady can still get a win, or rather can still tie. Now moving on to our second to last question. Worst DCEU movie? Go.
Wonder Woman 2.
Wonder Woman 2. Birds of
The
Prey.
emancipation of man and the queen.
Jonathan, Hermit, your pick. We have 5
Birds
seconds.
of Prey. Harley Quinn and Birds of Prey.
He already selected it.
So.
Yes.
And he already called Wonder Woman.
Yes.
Okay. Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad. I love the fact that you have all spoken good things about this movie in previous rounds. So let me see how you take it back.
I did not speak
Hujat had the
good
first
about
answer.
Let's start with final fight. Wonder Woman versus Cheetah, where she was being a ballerina rather than kickboxing the distance. Let's not even talk about the armor that was worthless in that show. Like, or is it the CGI where she was running and she seemed like a Lego character throughout? I don't even know where I can bring up. Even Max Lord, he was using airbending to push back Wonder Woman. Suddenly she used a rope, which was deflected by the air to catch him. So it was devoid of logic. The CGI was bad, and basically it was just a waste of time.
All right, thank you. That poor Birds of
The
Prey.
story in Birds of Prey was just off. I'm sure I lost some brain cells watching that movie. And also, also the fact that they make Black Canary black, I have no issues with black people. Obviously, I'm black, but Black Canary is supposed to be white, but she's black. And the fact that they brought together a team, and at the end of the movie, the team splitted up, and some of the characters just came in. And without any premise or any explanation or anything, there was nothing tying them to the story itself. They just needed to be there, and we were just there. And the last girl that was Cassandra Cain or Kit Kane, they just made that repetitive. Like, how can you go from someone really good to that bad?
Time. All right, thank you. Jolady, Suicide Squad.
For one, they tried making a band of misfits work as a team, which originally worked in the comic, but in the movie, they actually operate as a team. Well,
Food for thought.
they tried deceiving themselves working as a team and the rest, but I think like I said in previous round, Deadshot was the one that carried the whole. It was almost like a Deadshot movie, not a Suicide Squad movie. Well, Deadshot and Harley Quinn having their own lovey-dovey movement.
Deadshot trying to save Harley Quinn, they emphasize more on Deadshot's daughter than Amanda Waller herself.
And time. Thank you. Rebuttals. Hujat going
This is a
first.
difficult rebuttal because to try to say those bad movies are better than the bad movie I watched. But let's just go to the fact that at least there was no Lego scenes. And at least when people wanted to fight, they actually fought. Not that they were dancing on a rope. Electricity shocked the kitty, so that means she's gone. Come on! What were they thinking when they started Wonder Woman? At least Deadshot, you can call that for your movie. At least you can call Harley Quinn for yours. I can't call anything for Wonder Woman.
And time.
At least in Wonder Woman was giving that humanity part that actually made us to feel like she has been among humans for more than 70 years. And actually, that actually gave us some so a little bit of window to the character, and the fact that she actually wants to be with the person she loves, like that love scene, it works for people that love love, and I love love. Compared to my movie that has nothing to do with anything, just throwing.
And time.
Point.
Hermit, your case.
Well, as for the Birds of Prey, we should all embrace the fact that they include that there was inclusivity there. And for Wonder Woman, we should appreciate the fact that they stuck to storyline, Daughter of Zeus, they explored more on her powers as the goddess of war and goddess of love simultaneously. So at least those were two strong, these are two strong things that they emphasized on. But mine, like, are we watching a Deadshot movie or are we watching a Suicide Squad movie?
And time. I'm not going to lie, this is actually quite tough. It seems Dapo is making up for the lack of cap with his native attire, with a lot of cap today. The love, her wanting to be with the person she loved was actually one of the, less good parts about the movie, seeing as they had not been together for 70 years, and all of a sudden it seemed very unrealistic. I love the fact that Huja was able to bring good parts out of your movie, and although that Dapo tried to rebuttal with the whole Wonder Woman and all that, and generally, I just want to note that earlier you stated that the whole Daughter of Zeus wasn't actually them following a storyline because it didn't make sense. No, I'm not using that against you. I just want to state that. No, I mean, like earlier, like in one of the other questions, you actually mentioned it as against Sujat, and now it has come back as a point. We'll replay the scene right here, right now. But I'm not using that against you since that was a previous round. And for Jolade, you actually made, well, not too much strong of a point, but you made strong rebuttals, which actually put you into the argument. So for the first time, I'm going to go around to the people around me to ask what they think. Just quite quickly. Ara selects Hujat. Odu selects Hujat.
For the worst movie
Yes.
of DCU movie.
Yes.
What's his name again? Birds of Prey?
You're meant to use their arguments, not their answers.
Arguments
I would go with I don't know. To me, it's a tie between Hermit and Dapo.
All right, so we have two people going with Hermit, one person going with Hujat. I have to side with Hermit on this. Hermit gets his first win. And now for our final question. Dapo is at 2, Hujat is at 3, Jolade is at 1. Thank you for the scores. Hujat has a chance to win, Dapo has a chance to tie, and Jolade has a chance to tie with someone else. Anyway, so this is our final question. So for the format of this, I'll be giving you the conditions required for your questions. Then we'll give you a little time to think, probably off camera for the sake of time. And then we'll come back and you give your cases. And then for the rebuttals, you should really strictly focus on telling why the other person's case is wrong or not as good as yours, rather than strengthening yours. Now, I'm going to need each of you to mention 3 MCU characters. Just mention 3 MCU characters. Doctor Strange. Iron Man. Spider-Man. 3 characters.
Thor, Black Panther, and
Black Widow.
I hope you remember your characters because I can't. Jolade, 3 characters.
America, Falcon, and
Winter Soldier. Now you have your 3 characters. What I need you guys to do is create a case, create a movie with these 3 characters. So what you're going to do is give me the plot, give me the villain, and give me why it will make a better movie than the remaining 2 people beside you. Thinking starts now. Question.
Why?
Zed.
終わりなき戦いの連鎖を。その力では何も守れん。出直してこい。
Alright, so you've had enough time to think, I presume. We'll be giving you guys 40 seconds for the starting round and 30 seconds for the rebuttal scene, as it's the final one and it has a lot of things involved. Dapo gave his three characters first, so
Iron Man, Doctor Strange, and Spidey.
Iron Man, Doctor Strange, Spidey, go.
My villain is going to be Victor Von Doom.
Alright.
And the main reason why I chose Victor Von Doom is because the characters I chose, they are of high intelligence and very smart. And Victor Von Doom is somebody that is equally very smart and tech-wise and also has the ability to use magic. So it makes a proper villain for these characters I've chosen, given I have Doctor Strange and I have Iron Man and Spidey. So given my movie, it's going to take some serious work from Iron Man, Spidey, and Doctor Strange together to be able to defeat Victor Von Doom. So this is not going to be an easy peasy deal for these characters for them to do. They can't just walk into Von Doom and defeat him straight up, because you know how Von Doom is. He has the Doom bot and he can be tricky and he's also really, really smart.
Alright, time. Who got three characters?
Three characters: Black Panther, Black Widow, and Thor. And in this movie, we are going to make Thor the villain. Loki tricks him and uses some magic on him that brainwashes him, and he attacks the Avengers Tower, and he basically beats everybody there except for Black Widow. So she is able to go to Wakanda, because that's like the only other safe haven, and she enlists the help of Black Panther. So it's basically Black Widow, Black Panther, and the other Wakandas working together to find a way to get something that would reverse Thor brain before he wipes out all the realms.
Alright, thank you. Time, Jaladi.
Okay, so can I use two villains or just one?
You can use two villains.
Okay, Baron Zemo and Red Skull band together. That my villain, Baron Zemo and Red Skull, the plot, both of them band together and try to raise like the Fourth Reich, Vanguard through the Third Reich and the Fourth Reich and the rest. So it's going to be more of a stealth mission. So Captain America, Falcon, and Winter Soldier, they actually got the information that this and this is happening, because there are movements in particular parts of the world, and Hydra already raising soldier, because basically it's Hydra that is going to use for the Fourth Reich. So both of them goes in, they run stealth mission. Towards the end of it, they go all Gonzaga, guns blazing, and beat up both of them.
Alright, time. Thank you. And now you have 30 seconds each for rebuttals. Dapo, go.
Okay.
Oh wait, sorry, chill. This is just a bonus because I like you. I haven't heard your plot yet. You just told me the villain and the heroes, but I don't know what's the driving plot the other two have given me. So you could just add that to your rebuttal.
Okay. So my driving plot, thanks for giving me that, is that Victor Von Doom wants to take over the whole of the world, to be the main ruler of the world. And everybody, actually in this movie, everybody knows the kind of person he is. They know that he's not going to give some set of people the opportunity to do something. So this is why these heroes have to come together. And given his strength and some other characters elsewhere, and he's using that opportunity, given that he already had um prep time to actually do this. We are left with Doctor Strange and Iron Man and Spidey. So these are the smart people that have been used together. And given Doctor Strange's magic abilities, Iron Man tech abilities, and Spider Man being tech abilities, and also his powers, and also Iron Man's
Yeah, I get where you're going with
brain
that.
power.
I'll give you
and
10
everything.
extra seconds just to say what you don't like about the other two movies.
Okay, so his own movie, what I don't like about it basically is the Black Widow. I don't see Black Widow doing anything against Thor, and also it would take Black Panther and the whole of Wakanda to be able to do something to Thor. And given that Loki has already messed with Thor's mind, that is basically Berserker Thor that we are getting, and he could actually wipe out half of Wakanda.
All right, thank you. So Dapo has feasibility issues with yours. 30 seconds
Well,
rebuttal go.
First of all, let me just quickly run through this. I always like this hero versus hero kind of climax, and we're looking at Thor, one of the strong, in fact, by my opinion, strongest Avenger, and he has defeated every other Avenger. So looking at it, we're putting two people that really can't stand against him to actually go join hands and find something they are going to do. We're also going to use intellect from Black Panther and Shuri and their tech and so on to find something that they are going to use to revert Thor back. So it's actually going to be very, very challenging. That's why I put them in it. What I don't like about your movie is because it's, as much as we love this character, it seems too generic, wanting to take over the world. It's basically every single villain first thing to do. But and what I really do not like about it is because it's more of military shooting and all that, and it may tend to be more serious than the current Marvel based movies, which are just based on being funny and so on.
All right, time. Thank you. Jaladi rebuttal 30 seconds go.
For one, Victor Von Doom, we all know he has big egos, but one of his big egos is not about taking over the world. It's about just amassing power, just being powerful. And anytime we talk about Victor Von Doom, there is one character that is always ever around, Reed Richards. But in his movie, he talks about Victor Von Doom and no character from the Fantastic Four at all. Just due to mysticism, the likes of Doctor Strange can come in, but without Victor Von Doom, without Reed Richards, there's no Victor Von Doom. It's like having Lex Luthor as a villain and there is no Superman, or having Joker as a villain and there is no even Robin at all. That's how it's going to be. And as for his own movie, Loki taking over the mind of Thor, we've seen that Thor can resist mental. We all know Thor can resist mental manipulations, and one of his torture in Thor's Dark World, he was part mental. He resisted mental manipulations. So one thing that is going to do is that even if he's going to be, apart from that, if his head is going to be messed with at the end of the day, Black Widow, he made a plot, but how is Black Widow going to escape Thor destroying the whole Avengers?
All right, time. Thank you. And we have all your three cases and all your rebuttals. So first off, about Dapo's own. I actually liked direction you went with it up to an extent. Jolade actually made a strong point by saying it will seem a bit off having Doctor Doom without having any of the Fantastic Four there to say anything about him. But I won't deduct too much points because for the sake of this argument, we're having assumptions. So like same thing with his case against Hujat about whichever one he said before the Black Widow point. Yes, the mental manipulation. It takes a bit out of your argument, but for the sake that let's just assume it works for your movie, but it does take a bit out of both your arguments. Then you had the Black Widow, that what really hit you hard, and Jalade did with the whole how does Black Widow survive? What is Wakanda going to do against them? So you can't make much of a case for it after the fact. So you're just going to have to deal with it. So yeah, they made strong points against that, and since you didn't address it in your first one or your rebuttal, I can't really accept much from that. And with Jolade, I don't think, apart from you saying it's going to be a military shootout, I didn't really hear much point against Jolade's case. And you have to admit, he has the characters with the most sync, seeing as they've already operated together. And we all know that the Captain America Winter Soldier fight we've already seen was actually full-on hand-to-hand combat. So we have to assume that there's going to be situations of that. It's not just going to be them carrying guns because Cap barely uses guns. So
early stages of stealth.
I'm removing points from Jolade for talking, but I'm just joking. But anyways, Jolade actually had well, I wouldn't say the best movie. I think I would love to see Hujat and Dapo's movies as well. But since no one hit Jolade that much and it actually ended up hitting both of you, I'm going to have to give Jolade the last point. Seeing as we're running out of literal daylight and everything, Hujat is our winner with 3 points. Dapo and Jolade are tied for 2. Thank you for watching this far. We really appreciate it. If you guys have any comments or suggestions that you want us to do next, if you have any questions, drop your own answers for some of the questions asked. And without wasting much more time, peace out.
So